Morning Drive, brought to you by Golf Pride.
Very good Sunday morning. Welcome into Morning Drive. We call it a championship Sunday, and somewhere you may be winning a championship, maybe with just one other friend on a golf course across this great country of ours. Gary Williams alongside John Cook, 21 times a winner on the PGA Tour and PGA Tour champions. Matt Adams, you can listen to his great radio program, Fairways of Life, Monday through Friday, anywhere in the world. Of course, Jaime Diaz, one of the great writers we have in the game of golf and in the world of sports. Guys, we've got a nice week of birthdays in the game of golf. Earlier this week, it was Justin Thomas. Today, we wish a happy 30th birthday to a four-time major champion, Brooks Koepka. Considering what he has done in his young life, since 1934, only two players have won more majors than Brooks has before the age of 30. Jack Nicklaus had 7 of his 18 before 30, while Tiger already had 10 before his 30s. Koepka is the 4th player in the modern era to win 4 or more majors in a span of 8 starts, and is the only player in history to successfully defend the PGA Championship and the U.S. Open in a career. Heady stuff. John, is a fellow professional, when you look at what he's done, what he's already accomplished in his young career, put that in perspective, because you did a lot early on in your life, but 4 major championships, and he rolls the odometer to 30 just today.
Yeah, it's a huge respect for Brooks. I'm a huge fan of his. He exudes confidence in his process, confidence in himself. You look where he's won his golf tournaments, 7 PGA Tour wins. Of course, he's won at Erin Hills and then Shinnecock. Then he wins at Bethpage and Belle Reve. And you look at his other wins. He wins at TPC Scottsdale in Phoenix, big golf course. Then he wins at Memphis. Well, I guess anybody can win in Memphis, but and then he goes to Japan and wins at Dunlop Phoenix twice on a little short golf course. So his game travels, and that's so respected in our game as professional golfers. When you win on different golf courses in different parts of the country and different parts of the world, that is very, very impressive. The one thing, though, Gary, he's a little nonchalant about non-majors. Tiger, in his great 14-year run between 96 and 2009, never packed it in. He was always prepared to play no matter where it was. I think, 4 Hall of Fame, 4 wins is certainly Hall of Fame worthy, Gary, but I think that he's going to look back on that part of his career, and it might hurt him just a little bit that he wasn't ready for every single event that he played in.
Jaime, with what John just said, in that context, he will be in the World Golf Hall of Fame. So if he didn't do anything else beyond that, at 30, comparatively from a historical perspective, where would he be if it all ended today, which it won't?
Well, it all depends how much you weight majors, and probably no career in history is as front-loaded, so to speak, or lopsided towards majors as Brooks Koepka. So he's got 4, and a lot of guys never got 4 before the age of 30. But I have to say some of them would rank ahead of Brooks, not because Brooks, is lacking anything in terms of ability, but he, as John was mentioning, he just hasn't been consistent week to week to the same extent as all-time greats like Sam Snead, who didn't have any majors by the time he reached 30, but he had 27 wins, for example. So just going off of that list, that obviously we had Jack and Tiger and Bobby Jones and Hagen with 4, and Gary Player as well. I'd have to rank them ahead of Brooks. But then other men like, Seve and Rory and Sam Snead and Tom Watson and Byron Nelson and Johnny Miller. Johnny Miller had, 18 victories and 2 majors by the time he was 30. So, I'm going to give Brooks about 14th place in terms of stacking up as what was accomplished by age of 30. I'd even put Jordan Spieth ahead of him with 3 majors and 11 victories and 2 Australian Opens. So it's a very fast crowd, and Brooks certainly has a chance. I'd also just want to mention Arnold Palmer. He passes Arnold Palmer, but Arnold Palmer in his 31st year, won 7 tournaments. So Brooks is really in a fast league here, and he can still do it. But right now, I'd say 14th among those guys who achieve things by the age of 30.
Jaime, I wouldn't disagree with your ranking of Brooks Koepka currently. I think, Gary and gentlemen, I think that majors are still the standard against which great careers are judged. And I agree with you that we would all like to see him compete more, contend more, win more week to week on the PGA Tour. And I happen to think that as the years go on, things such as winning a FedEx Cup, winning the Players will continue to grow in stature and be in the mix. But currently, it's still defined by major championships that players are judged by. Last year, he told us, I don't see why I can't get to double digits in majors in his career. What's different? Right? He says his driver is his favorite club. Well, there's a lot of great drivers on the PGA Tour. Last year, he was 10th in driving distance. Good. But 102nd in accuracy. And aren't majors about accuracy off the tee as well? I think the real difference here is his mind. He claims that in majors, he's more focused than the rest, even declaring that majors are easier to win, very much like Jack Nicklaus in that perspective, Jaime, as you noted. His control over his emotions is very much like Walter Hagen, who used to walk into the locker room and say, who's going to finish second? His warrior persona, it's textbook Ben Hogan. Even his ability to channel offense into competitive passion, much like Tiger Woods did, whether it was real or perceived. So when it comes down to Brooks Koepka, Gary, I think that he is already in extremely rare company, and the power of his mind is what's going to carry him. The concern that I have is injuries. I spoke to Paul Azinger about it, and his quip to me was quick and concise. He said, injuries don't happen on the golf course. They happen in the gym. And Brooks has had a series of them, and they've been serious.
Well, look, the thing is, they ran the Kentucky Derby simulation yesterday, and I wouldn't want to be Citation looking down the gate, and there's Seattle Slough, there's Affirmed. Oh, and by the way, there's Secretariat. It's a great gate to be in, which he is as he turns 30 today. The thing I would say about him, there's an unorthodoxy to him, which is great. Jack Nicklaus didn't verbalize on a Tuesday that majors were easy to win and that he could eliminate all but about a dozen players in a major championship field. I also think that the way that he comports himself on the golf course, there is no deliberation. We're in a generation where there's a lot of deliberation before these players get into the play box. There's a lot in the think box. He just gets in there like an athlete and reacts very instinctively to the way he's done it. So look, happy birthday to him. And Brooks, Jaime gave you a birthday present, a slight, to a very small degree, that you can take forward when we get golf back.